The Adventures of the Young Man in the Mountains and Seas. Chapter 1. Lin Jing originally thought that his life was a life of drinking, eating, drinking, and causing some trouble. But on this day, he was blocked at the entrance of the village by a mountain spider bigger than a wheel. The spider's eyes flashed like amber, and its claws trembled with every step on the ground. This. What is this? Lin Jing's legs were weak from fright, his hand was still holding the wine glass he had just finished last night, and his heart was pounding. The spider suddenly opened its mouth, spat out a hair thicker than his arm, and swept directly at him. He quickly rolled away and was almost swept away. Damn, this is too ridiculous. Lin Jing gritted his teeth, remembering that he had never really done anything serious, and doubted life in his heart. At this moment, the spider retreated suddenly, as if attracted by something, and Lin Jing took the opportunity to run deep into the village. Chapter 2. The old man in the village said that these monsters are all ancient creatures that ran out of the classic of mountains and seas. The boundary between mountains and seas is not something that mortals can step into casually. The old man's tone was cold, and his eyes seemed to be able to penetrate people's souls. Lin Jing was shocked and scared in his heart. He thought he was just a fool, but now he had to face this kind of monster. I don't want to die, he muttered to himself, but in the shadows of the mountains in the distance outside the village, new figures had begun to emerge. There was a huge tail faintly under the water, slapping the water like a hook, making a low sound. Lin Jing's intuition told him that this was not an ordinary snake, but a monster in the classic of mountains and seas that lurks in the water and hooks people with its tail. Shocked, he began to think about an escape plan, but the surroundings were densely covered with water nets, and he didn't even have a way out. Chapter 3. Just when Lin Jing was in despair, a talking rabbit jumped in front of him. Don't be afraid, I can help you. The condition is that you agree to me 3 questions. The rabbit's eyes were cunning, and its fur was silvery white, like moonlight sprinkled on the grass. Lin Jing was stunned. You. Can you talk? The rabbit nodded, his eyes shining with wisdom. Eat me, and you will get the answer, but you must be able to bear the price of lies. Lin Jing beat a drum in his heart. Oh my god, he just wanted to survive, and now he has to face the strange option of eating a lying rabbit. Okay. Eat. He gritted his teeth and decided, and in an instant, the rabbit shrank, turned into a ball of light, and entered his mouth. Chapter 4. The rabbit's light turned into a torrent of knowledge and poured directly into Lin Jing's brain. In an instant, he could see the movement trajectory of underwater snakes, the weaknesses of mountain spiders, and understand the whispers of trees. He exclaimed, How can I have this ability? However, what followed was a strange feeling. There was still a whisper left by the rabbit in his mouth, which reminded him, you get power, but you also have to bear the price of lies. Lin Jing's heart beat faster, and the world was 100 times more cruel than he imagined. Chapter 5. Lin Jing uses his newly acquired abilities to dodge the serpent's tail attack and test the mountain spider's footsteps. He discovered that spiders are extremely sensitive to sound, and a small vibration can cause it to turn around and chase in the wrong direction. Lin Jing was cautious and kept calculating in his heart, if he could successfully lure away the spider, he would be able to hide deep in the village and find the legendary Holy Land of Mountains and Seas, that is the place where mortals may gain the power to defy heaven in ancient books. Chapter 6. The entrance to the mountain and sea Holy Land is located in the north of the village, and Lin Jing walks carefully all the way with new abilities. On the way, he encountered strangely shaped birds, feathers like flames, eyes like stars, and calls like metal strikes. Are you a mortal who came to ask for strength? A bird suddenly spoke, its voice sharp and harsh. Lin Jing took a step back in fright, and the jade sword in his hand almost fell. He wanted to say that he was just a coward, but an inexplicable courage surged in his heart. He was no longer a pure coward. Chapter 7. The bird tests Lin Jing's mind and sets up an illusion. He sees his parents being devoured by monsters, the village in ruins, and even his own figure gradually disappearing. Lin Jing's heart was shocked. He clenched the jade sword desperately, and shouted, I won't give up. The illusion was instantly shattered, and the birds nodded, turning into a light to lead the forest path through the valley. He felt that he was no longer just a person who spent his days drinking, but a person who could fight against monsters. Chapter 8. Lin Jing arrived at the Holy Land of mountains and seas, and in front of him was a strange mountain range floating in the air, with stones floating, streams flowing backwards, and trees spinning in the air. His heart beat faster, and this scene was far more shocking than what was recorded in the classic of mountains and seas. Just as he was about to probe deeper, the sky cracked and a huge flame dragon fell from the sky, its tail sweeping across the valley, leaving behind fiery flames. Lin Jing's heart trembled, but the bloodline power was activated again, and he felt the power gushing out of his body to temporarily fight the flames. Chapter 9. The flame dragon confronted Lin Jing, spewing flames and illusions from its mouth, the past life of sorrow, countless failures, fear, and cowardice. He felt his heart almost collapse, but under the guidance of the rabbit's whispers and the power of his bloodline, he finally stabilized his mind. I'm no longer just a squirrel. He roared, the bloodline power gushed out of his body, his jade fingers glowed, and the flame dragon was suddenly forced to retreat by the light and retreated into the distant valley. For the first time, Lin Jing felt the true power, not just to run away, but to take control. Chapter 10. Lin Jing explored the sacred place of mountains and seas and discovered several ancient altars, each sealed with the souls of strange creatures, a stone lion larger than a human, a flying snake with 100 eyes, and a giant bird that can control wind and rain. Each creature tests Lin Jing's will, and he must answer riddles, overcome illusions, and even communicate with creatures. With each success, he gained some strength and gradually understood that his future destiny was not just a coincidence, but a possibility of saving the entire world. Chapter 11. Lin Jing walked into the depths of the mountain and sea holy land and found a lake with inky water and glowing aquatic plants floating on the water. There was a huge shadow swimming in the center of the lake, and the water surface suddenly rolled, and a giant snake appeared, its tail swept across the water like a hook, and the low roar shook Lin Jing's heart to beat fast. Is this the legendary hook-tailed water snake? Lin Jing's eyes widened, the blood power was faintly activated, he could feel every breath of the snake. The snake slowly surfaced, showing its fangs, its eyes burning like flames, as if judging Lin Jing's will. He clenched his jade fingers, took a deep breath, and suddenly thought of the power of lies reminded in the rabbit's whisper, capable of temporarily interfering with biological perception. His mind moved, the light of his jade fingers flashed, and the snake's vision was instantly confused. Lin Jing took the opportunity to jump onto the boulder by the lake and avoid the snake's tail attack. Chapter 12. After the lake calmed down, Lin Jing was surprised to find another creature sleeping at the bottom of the lake, a thousand-eyed water turtle, with runes flashing on its shell, which could see the future and the past. The turtle slowly raised its head, its eyes revealing wisdom, and whispered, "Mortal, you step into the mountains and seas, not only to survive, but also to understand order." Lin Jing was stunned, and couldn't help but doubt, me? Understand order? The jade fingers trembled again, he felt the blood vein power resonate with the turtle spirit deep in the lake. The turtle nodded slowly, as if testing his will, and left a message, only those who truly face their fears can master the power of mountains and seas. Chapter 13. The forest path leaves the lake and goes deeper along the mountain road. On the way, mountain spiders larger than wheels appeared, their claws stepping on the stones and making a low roar. Seeing this, Lin Jing quickly used the power of blood to sense the spiders' movements, and found that they were extremely sensitive to sound, so he secretly stepped on the soft soil and avoided the spider's sight like a cat. Just as he was moving forward carefully, a spider suddenly jumped down, its claws hitting Lin Jing directly. He could hardly dodge it, the jade finger light burst out, forming a light shield to bounce the claw strike away. Lin Jing took a few steps back, his heart beating wildly, and then he realized that his strength could compete with the mountain and sea monsters for a short time. Chapter 14. The forest path entered a floating forest, the trees floated in the air like wings, and the branches and leaves shimmered with a shimmering light. He felt the power of the bloodline guiding him deep into the middle of the forest, as if an unknown was waiting for him. In the depths of the woods, a huge mantis appeared, larger than a horse, with its front paws shining with cold light, staring at the forest path. This. What kind of monster is it? Lin Jing's heart raced, feeling unprecedented pressure. The jade fingers glowed, and he clutched his will and dealt with the mantis. The mantis attacked fiercely, but each attack was defused by the light shield, and he gradually mastered the skill of controlling space microseconds. Chapter 15. After the mantis was forced to retreat, Lin Jing continued to go deep into the woods and found a stream of water with dozens of small arowana fish in the water, which could manipulate the water flow and quickly change the shape of the water surface. Lin Jing carefully observed their movements, and the power of the bloodline allowed him to predict the direction of the dragon fish's attack in advance. Just as Lin Jing was about to cross the river, suddenly the water surface exploded, and a huge tail of an arowana struck, stirring up huge waves. He barely dodged, and his jade fingers glowed to form a barrier, protecting his whole body. He secretly made up his mind, as long as he could live, he would explore all the secrets of the mountains and seas. Chapter 16. Lin Jing continued his journey and encountered a group of transforming humanoid mountain monsters, their faces covered in eyes and their voices like whispers in the wind. The illusioned humanoid mountain monster posed a riddle to Lin Jing: "Mortals, if they want to gain power, they must first answer the source of your fear." Lin Jing's heart trembled, he understood that this was not only an intelligence test, but also a spiritual test. He closes his eyes and looks directly at his once evasive, cowardly nature that only wants to avoid responsibility. The bloodline power gushed out, the jade fingers flashed, the illusion monster slowly retreated, the illusion was shattered, and Lin Jing's courage was truly recognized for the first time. Chapter 17. After passing through the illusion, Lin Jing encountered a suspended altar with countless strange runes engraved on the altar, and a glowing stone ball floating in the center. The stone ball seems to be able to sense the strength of a person, and every time it approaches, the light fluctuates. Lin Jing stretched out his jade finger towards the stone ball, the blood power resonated with the stone ball, and the light of the stone ball instantly turned into a rain of runes, scattering all over the body. He felt his body being infused with power, and his speed, perception, and combat intuition were greatly improved. Lin Jing exclaimed, "It turns out that power is not only about fighting monsters, but also about improving the body and mind. You can really save the world." Chapter 18. As soon as he gained strength, Lin Jing encountered a giant griffin beast again, larger than a house. Its wings swept the air like a hurricane, and its sharp claws were sharp enough to cut through stones. Lin Jing cursed secretly in his heart, "Oh my god, these monsters are too much." The griffin beast hovered in the air, forcing Lin Jing into a desperate situation. He gritted his teeth, his jade fingers glowed dazzlingly, and the blood power allowed him to sense the griffin beast's muscle movements and attack rhythm, and every dodge seemed to foresee the future. After several rounds of life and death confrontation, the griffin beast finally recognized his strength and retreated into the depths of the sky. Chapter 19. The forest path passes through the territory of the griffin beast and into the depths of the valley, where an ancient ruin is discovered, with stone tablets carved with ancient tribes and mystical symbols. He touched the stone tablet, and the power of his bloodline made the symbol flash, producing a whisper: "Mortals, if they want to master the power of mountains and seas, they must first recognize their own destiny." Lin Jing's heart was shocked, and he understood that the monster trial along the way was not random, but a test of his courage, wisdom, and will. The jade fingers flashed, and the power of the blood poured in like a tide, and for the first time, he truly felt it was really possible to save the world from the shackles. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 20. Just as Lin Jing was immersed in the wisdom of the ruins, the sky suddenly cracked, and a lightning-like beam of light shot down, and a flame bird larger than a mountain fell from the sky. Its wings flapped, bringing a storm and hitting the valley where the forest path was located. Lin Jing did not hesitate, and the power of the jade fingers and bloodline exploded, forming a huge light shield to protect himself. He secretly made up his mind in his heart, I can't be cowardly anymore, I want to be the one who can save the world. The battle between the flame bird and Lin Jing officially announced that his adventure had reached its true climax, and the fate of the world began to be rewritten by him step by step. Chapter 21. The flame bird's huge wings flapped, bringing up a scorching air current. Lin Jing stood in the valley, feeling the blood vein power rushing in his body, and the jade fingers emitted dazzling light. The flame bird chirped low, flames spewed out of its mouth, instantly illuminating the entire valley in a crimson color. Lin Jing cursed secretly in his heart, I have just awakened my power, and this is such a big test. He quickly cast a light shield to resist the flames. The light collided violently with the flames, making a rumbling sound and the stones shattered. The flame bird suddenly turned around, flapped its wings and rolled the air into a tornado, sweeping the forest path directly over the valley. He clenched his jade fingers, and the power of his bloodline made him dodge like a shadow, gradually mastering the rhythm of aerial battles. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 22. Lin Jing confronted the flame bird in the air, and the power of the bloodline allowed him to predict the flame bird's trajectory. Every dodge, every counterattack, is like a race against time. The flame bird's claws were as sharp as knives, and his light shield resisted again and again, sweat flowing down his forehead. Suddenly, the feathers of the flame bird turned into a flame bird, and flame traps were scattered around, shooting towards Lin Jing like countless small lasers. Lin Jing took a deep breath, and the light of the jade finger burst out again, forming a shield that instantly evaporated the flame bird. The flame bird retreated to the sky, its low cry as if acknowledging Lin Jing's strength, and finally dissipated into the sky. Lin Jing fell into the valley, panting, but for the first time in his heart, he felt a real sense of accomplishment. He was really growing. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 23. Lin Jing continued deep into the holy land of mountains and seas, encountering a group of floating volcanoes. The crater is filled with lava smoke, and rocks float in the air, creating a dangerous labyrinth. The bloodline power allowed him to sense the floating rhythm of the rocks, carefully taking every step. On the way, he encountered a monster, a half-human, half-snake flame demon, with a fiery red body, a tail attacking like a long whip, and wisdom and cunning in his eyes. The monster spoke, Mortal, if you want to master the power of mountains and seas, you must first accept trials and face your fears and desires. Lin Jing's heart trembled, but the light of his jade fingers reminded him that strength comes from courage, and he gritted his teeth and nodded, ready to meet the trial of the flame demon. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 24. The flame demon cast illusions, and countless past scenes appeared in front of Lin Jing's eyes. He was cowardly, evaded, caused trouble, and was ridiculed. Every picture was cut like a knife in his heart, and he could hardly bear it. The jade fingers glowed, the blood power gushed out of the body, and Lin Jing roared loudly, I am no longer cowardly. I will be a real power. The illusion was shattered, and the flame demon's figure gradually dissipated, leaving only a faint light of fire. Lin Jing felt for the first time, courage is more important than any force. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 25. The forest path passes through the volcanic maze and comes to a floating lake, which is like a mirror, reflecting the stars in the sky. In the center of the lake was a transparent crystal ball, which seemed to seal the power of the ancient race. The jade fingers vibrated in his hand, and the blood power guided him closer to the crystal ball. When Lin Jing reached out and touched the crystal ball, the light flickered, and he felt the breath of thousands of creatures, mountain spiders, hooktail water snakes, flame birds. There are even unknown monsters. The crystal ball whispered, Mortal, you have passed the trial, but true strength needs to cross the door of life and death. Lin Jing was shocked and knew that the road ahead would be even more dangerous. underscore 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 on. Chapter 26. At night, Lin Jing was resting on the shore of the lake, and the blood power was running automatically, sensing a low roar from the distance. The sky cracked, and a group of giant mantises landed from the cracks, their claws flashing with cold light, heading straight for the forest path. He gritted his teeth, his jade fingers glowing, and the light shield protected his whole body. The mantis claw strikes like a storm, he dodges again and again, using the power of the bloodline to predict the enemy's movements, and gradually finds the rhythm of the counterattack. In the end, he used the light shield to rebound the mantis attack, repelling the enemy group and passing the level again on the edge of life and death. Underscore 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 on. Chapter 27. The forest path led along a lake. The water suddenly rippled, revealing an ancient altar carved with countless runes. The runes flickered, calling out to him, "Mortal, only by uniting the power of the mountains and the sea can you break free from the constraints of fate." The jade finger glowed, he injected the bloodline power into the altar, the runes flickered and spread like a galaxy, and the entire lake was shrouded in light. Lin Jing felt the fusion of himself and the power of the mountains and seas, as if the rhythm of the whole world was synchronized with him. Underscore 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 on. Chapter 28. After the light dissipated, the lake cracked, revealing a huge water shadow, the legendary Water Spirit King. The Water Spirit King was huge, his eyes flashed with wisdom, and he whispered, "Mortal, you can master the power of mountains and seas, but you must first learn to respect every life." Lin Jing had an epiphany and understood that power was not unlimited killing but protection and control. He took a deep breath, his jade fingers glowing, and the power of the bloodline resonated with the Water Spirit King, who eventually turned into a point of light and dissipated, giving him the ability to control water and living things. Underscore 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 on. Chapter 29. After the lake, the forest path steps into a dark valley where exotic plants grow, leaves can cut through the air, and flowers can release narcotic gases. He felt the bloodline power active again, helping him avoid a fatal crisis. On the way, he encountered a white rabbit that could lie, and the rabbit jumped in front of him and said, "You have gained strength, but the real challenge is how to face lies and truth." Lin Jing's heart was shocked, and he realized that all the monsters and illusions along the way were a test of his mind. Underscore 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 on. Chapter 30. In the depths of the dark valley, Lin Jing found a floating altar. In the center of the altar floated the core of the power of mountains and seas, a crystal divine bead, shimmering with strange light. The jade fingers and bloodline power vibrated again, as if reminding him that the next step was to save the world, and the climax of the real adventure was coming. Lin Jing clenched his jade fingers, and his eyes flashed with resoluteness. "I can't be cowardly anymore, this time, I want to become a real hero." Chapter 31. Lin Jing clenched his jade fingers and stepped into the deepest part of the dark valley. The air here was extremely solemn, and the black vines swayed like tentacles, as if they would be caught with every step. The power of the bloodline made him sense the movement trajectory of the vines, and every step was tense like walking on a tightrope. Suddenly, a shadow burst out from behind the vines, a strange creature that was half human, half leopard, several times larger than a hound, and its eyes flashed red. It roared lowly, spitting out fangs like wire from its mouth. Lin Jing's heart beat faster, and the power of his blood made him feel the rhythm of life and death. He took a deep breath, and the light of his jade fingers burst out, forming a light shield to resist the fang's attack, and used his speed to dodge. For the first time, he felt that strength was not just defense, but could take the initiative to control life and death, and his heart surged with unprecedented courage. Underscore 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 on. Chapter 32. Through the maze of vines, the forest path came to a floating stone platform. Countless small balls of light float on the stone platform, twinkling like stars, each projecting illusions, presenting the possibilities of the past, present, and future. Lin Jing reached out and touched the ball of light, and was instantly sucked into the illusion. He saw that if he continued to be a monster, the village would be destroyed by monsters. If you move forward bravely, you can master the power of mountains and seas, and even save the world. The jade finger glowed, he felt the power of the bloodline resonate with the ball of light, and understood, only by choosing courage can you have the power to control your destiny. Chapter 33. The illusion dissipated, and a giant two-headed bird swooped down from the sky, each head breathing fire and screaming. Lin Jing took a few steps back, panic in his heart, but the power of the bloodline reminded him that every flapping of the bird's wings had air pulsations. He used light shields and dodge techniques to cleverly counterattack, and his jade fingers glowed to form light waves, repelling birdwing attacks. The two-headed bird was forced to retreat into the depths of the sky, and Lin Jing said to himself secretly, I really don't know how to be cowardly anymore. Chapter 34. Lin Jing was walking along the depths of the valley, and suddenly the ground shook, and dozens of mountain spiders larger than wheels rushed out of the ground and took an attack posture. The power of the bloodline allowed him to predict the spiders' movements, the jade fingers flashed with light, and every dodge and counterattack was like a dance. The spider's huge claws swept by, and he used his light shield to bounce back several of them, and then used his bloodline power to explode instantly, forcing the spider group to retreat. The valley returned to tranquility, and he silently thought to himself, every fear is a nutrient of strength. Chapter 35. Lin Jing came to the lake. The lake reflected the night sky, but a large number of black shadows vaguely appeared. The bloodline power told him that these were the after-images of the water spirit. The lake suddenly rolled, and several hook-tailed water snakes rushed out of the water, their tails swinging like sickles. He took a deep breath, his jade fingers glowing, the light shield protected his whole body, and he used the power of the bloodline to sense every movement of the snake. The snake's tail swept over, and he deftly dodged while hitting the snake's eye with a light wave, causing it to retreat into the lake. This time, he had a better grasp of the power of water resonating with bloodline. Chapter 36. Behind the lake, an ancient altar floats in the air. The altar is carved with strange runes, and a crystal ball floats in the center, emitting an icy blue light. The jade fingers vibrated again, and the blood vein power resonated with the crystal ball. The crystal ball whispered, Mortal, you have mastered courage and strength, but the real test is whether you can take responsibility for order. Lin Jing had an epiphany and understood that power was not just for survival, but to undertake the mission of protecting the world. Chapter 37. The altar's light dispersed, cracking in the air, and a group of giant mantises and flame birds flew out to attack in unison. Lin Jing took a deep breath, his jade fingers glowed to form a light shield, and the power of the bloodline burst out, and every dodge and counterattack was as precise as a dance. The battle was fierce, but Lin Jing was no longer afraid. He gradually felt the fusion of strength and will, and each counterattack carried the rhythm of blood and order, finally pushing back the enemy group and holding the core of the altar. Chapter 38. Lin Jing went deep into the deepest part of the mountain and sea holy place and found a group of floating volcanoes. Lava erupted from the crater, and the air was hot. Suddenly, a half-dragon, half-beast flame monster rushed out of the volcano and spewed out blazing flames. Lin Jing clenched his jade fingers, blood power surged out, he was no longer afraid of flames, using light shields and space manipulation skills to cleverly dodge attacks and use light waves to hit monsters. The flame monster was forced to retreat, the volcanic lava fluctuated steadily, and Lin Jing once again felt that his strength could not be underestimated. Chapter 39. In the depths of the volcanic complex, Lin Jing found a floating crystal ball containing the soul of the ancient race. The crystal ball glowed, as if talking to him, you have gained courage, strength, and wisdom, but the real trial comes from the fear in your heart. Lin Jing clenched his jade fingers, the power of his blood was pouring in like a torrent, he felt the cowardice, fear, and past life in his heart, all swallowed up by the light. For the first time, he completely overcame his inner cowardice and awakened as a true hero. Chapter 40. After the volcanic group, Lin Jing came to the deep valley and encountered the guardian of the ancient tribe, a giant two-headed snake, each head breathing fire and screaming, approaching Lin Jing. The jade fingers glowed, the blood power burst out, he sensed the rhythm of every attack of the two-headed snake, skillfully dodged, the light wave hit the snake's eye, causing it to retreat into the deep valley. For the first time, Lin Jing felt that he was no longer just a sword, but a person who could master the power of mountains and seas. He looked into the depths of the valley and secretly made up his mind in his heart, the next step will be to challenge the core power of the mountains and seas and truly save the world. Chapter 41. Lin Jing stepped into the depths of the valley and found a floating altar, in the center of which floated the core of the power of the mountains and seas, the crystal divine pearl. The blood power resonated with the jade fingers, and the light of the jade fingers gushed out like a tide. The divine bead whispered, "Mortal, mastering power is just the beginning, the real test is to take on order and maintain the balance of the world." Lin Jing felt the pressure, but his heart was no longer afraid, he stretched out his hand and merged with the divine bead, and the power of the blood veins exploded throughout his body. Chapter 42. The light dispersed, the sky cracked, and a super large flame bird descended again, joining forces with the valley guardian to attack the forest path. The power of the bloodline allowed him to predict the enemy's movements, and his jade fingers formed a light shield, and every dodge and counterattack was extremely accurate. Lin Jing felt the fusion of strength and will, and the light shield turned into a light wave rebound attack, and the enemy retreated into the depths of the sky. For the first time, Lin Jing realized that he had truly mastered the rhythm of life and death, and could challenge the strongest creatures in the mountains and seas. Chapter 43. Deep in the valley, Lin Jing encountered a combination of half-human, half-leopard, two-headed snake, and flame bird challenges. The blood vein power burst out, the light of the jade fingers gushed out like a torrent, he gradually mastered the fusion of the battle rhythm and the power of the mountains and seas. In the end, he successfully integrated his forces, repelled the monsters, and defended the core altar of the mountains and seas. Lin Jing felt unprecedented confidence, he was no longer a fool, but a brave man who saved the world. Chapter 44. The altar flickered, and the spirit of the ancient clan whispered, "You have passed the trial, but the real challenge is how to use your power to protect the world order." Lin Jing took a deep breath, the light of his jade fingers was stable, and the power of his bloodline was synchronized with the rhythm of the world. Lan Su appeared and smiled, "You have awakened, and the future world needs you to protect it." Lin Jing nodded, his heart full of determination, knowing that his adventure had just begun and that the chapter of truly saving the world was about to begin. Chapter 45. Lin Jing stood in front of the core altar of the mountains and seas, the light of his jade fingers surged like a tide, and the power of his bloodline completely resonated with the pulse of the world. He felt that the creatures and elemental forces of the entire mountain and sea holy land were watching him, and every breath was like a dialogue with heaven and earth. Suddenly, a light and shadow appeared on the altar, showing the afterimage of the 5 emperors and non-emperors, as well as the battlefield scene of the ancient tribe thousands of years ago. Lin Jing saw the decisive battle between the ancestors and the heavenly emperor, and every attack and defense shocked the heavens and the earth. His heart was shocked, and he understood that power was only the first step in protecting the world, and the real challenge was order itself. Lan Su whispered, "The will of the true heavenly emperor is waiting for the awakener, you must overcome life and death and spiritual trials to master complete power." Lin Jing took a deep breath, clenched his jade fingers, and stepped into the depths of light and shadow. Chapter 46. In the depths of light and shadow, Lin Jing faced a huge illusion. He was surrounded by countless monsters, and mountain spiders, flame birds and hook-tailed water snakes attacked at the same time. His heart was shocked, and fear surged in his heart, but the power of the bloodline and the light of the jade finger reminded him, every fear is the nourishment of strength. Lin Jing closed his eyes and turned fear into strength. Every dodge and every counterattack was as precise as a dance. The illusion monster gradually dissipated, the sky cracked, and the incarnation of the true heavenly emperor appeared. His eyes were as deep as a galaxy, and his voice was low. Mortal, you have awakened and can take on the order of mountains and seas. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 47. The incarnation of the true emperor told Lin Jing that the 5 emperors and non-emperors are only symbols of the guardian order, and the controller of the true order must be able to understand the fusion of fear, courage, and wisdom. Lin Jing felt that the power of the bloodline was connected to the pulse of the entire world, and every breath could sense life and death in the future. The jade finger light burst out, and Lin Jing felt that he had turned into the core of order, able to fuse mountain and sea creatures, elemental power, and time pulsation. He reached out to touch the light and shadow of the heavenly emperor, and the entire light and shadow turned into countless runes flowing into the jade fingers, and the power reached its peak in an instant. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 48. Lin Jing returned to the floating mountains and seas holy land. The whole world was stabilized by his power, the sky was clear, the lake was sparkling, and the creatures in the valley were safe and sound. The power of the bloodline allowed him to sense order everywhere, and every corner was under his control. Lan Su stood by the altar and said with a smile, "You are no longer a fool, but a person who can control the order of mountains and seas. In the future, the world will be stable because of you." Lin Jing felt unprecedented confidence and responsibility, and he understood that the true meaning of power is to protect, not conquer. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 49. However, just as Lin Jing let his guard down, a vision appeared again in the sky crack. The remnants of the ancient tribe merged with the power of the new gods, forming a new threat. Lin Jing took a deep breath, his jade fingers and blood power burst out simultaneously, and every breath was like controlling the rhythm of time. This time, he no longer relied solely on strength, but used wisdom and bloodline resonance to predict the monster's actions. The light intertwined with the runes, the mountain and sea monsters gradually retreated, and the world regained balance again. Lin Jing deeply understood for the first time, true guardianship is to understand the essence of power and the pulse of order. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 50. In the end, Lin Jing stood on the top of the floating altar and looked at the entire world of mountains and seas. The jade finger light was steady, the blood power flowed like a tide, and he felt that the world order was completely integrated into him. In the light and shadow, the true heavenly emperor smiled and whispered, "You have completed the trial and become the guardian of the order of mountains and seas." Lan Su stood beside her, her eyes soft and admiring, "You have completed the adventure and taken on the responsibility. The world is stable because of you, and your story has just begun." Lin Jing took a deep breath and secretly vowed in his heart, no matter how many monsters and challenges there are in the future, he will protect this mountain and sea world. He is no longer a brave, a true master of order, a saver of the world. Floating cities, lakes, valleys and skies all shimmer in the light, and the entire world of mountains and seas is as calm and beautiful as a new life. Lin Jing felt complete strength, responsibility and freedom for the first time, and his legend will forever be passed down in the mountains and seas.